What if the very thing that broke you, the loss, the failure, the diagnosis, the door that slammed in your face, the relationship that ended, the dream that collapsed, what if all of it, every single devastating piece of it, was not God punishing you, but God positioning you? What if the darkest season of your life was never the end of your story, but the secret beginning of the most miraculous chapter you have ever lived? Right now, at this very second, while you are sitting with your doubts, while you are exhausted from waiting, while part of you has quietly, painfully begun to wonder if things will ever actually change, something is moving in the invisible world on your behalf. Something is being built that you cannot yet see. Something is being arranged that will make your jaw drop and your eyes fill and your knees weaken when it finally arrives and you understand completely and undeniably that every single moment of your suffering was a stitch in a tapestry so breathtakingly beautiful that you would not trade a single painful thread of it. Stay with me through this entire message, because what you are about to hear is not motivation. It is not inspiration. It is a spiritual truth so powerful and so precise that it has the ability to completely rewrite your life, beginning today. What if the very moment you feel most broken, most lost, most convinced that life has forgotten about you, what if that is the exact moment the universe is positioning you for the most extraordinary surprise of your entire existence? What if your greatest disappointment was never a dead end, but was always a divine detour leading you somewhere so magnificent, so beyond anything your limited human imagination could construct, that when it finally arrives, you will fall to your knees not in despair, but in absolute breathless gratitude? What if everything you have been crying about, everything that has kept you awake at night staring at the ceiling, wondering why, what if all of it, every single painful chapter, was not punishment but preparation? What if God has been working behind the scenes of your life with a level of precision and love so profound that the moment you finally see the full picture, you will understand that not one moment was wasted, not one tear was shed without purpose, and not one prayer went unanswered. They were simply being answered in a language your present self had not yet learned to read. I want you to stay with me today. I want you to open something inside yourself that perhaps fear or disappointment or the weight of repeated struggle has slowly, quietly closed. I want you to open the door of absolute radical possibility, because what I am about to share with you has the power to completely rewrite the story you have been telling yourself about who you are, what you deserve, and what is possible for your life starting from this very moment. We live in a world that has taught us to trust only what we can see, measure, touch, and verify with our physical senses. We have been conditioned from the time we were very young to operate from evidence. Show me the money before I believe prosperity is coming. Show me the healing before I believe I can recover. Show me the relationship before I believe love is possible for someone like me. Show me the open door before I take a step away from the wall I have been leaning against. And so we stand, millions of human beings standing with their backs against the wall of limitation, eyes scanning the horizon for evidence that never seems to arrive in the timing they demand. And slowly, painfully, they conclude that God has forgotten them, that the universe doesn't care, that they are somehow exempt from the miraculous, that everyone else gets the breakthrough while they remain permanently in the waiting room of life. But here is what I want you to understand with every fiber of your being today. The universe, the infinite intelligence that hung every star in the sky, that orchestrated the precise conditions necessary for life to emerge on this planet, that causes your heart to beat without any conscious instruction from you, that same intelligence, that same breathtaking creative power is actively, lovingly, and specifically involved in the details of your life. Not generally, not vaguely, specifically, personally, with intention that carries your name on it. And it is working right now, at this very second, on something in your life so magnificent that if you could see even a glimpse of what is coming, you would immediately stop worrying. You would stop crying about what you lost. You would stop being angry about how long it is taking. You would simply sit in a state of stunned, reverent, overwhelmed anticipation. Think about the nature of a seed. You plant a seed in the ground and then nothing. You see nothing. You feel nothing. The ground looks exactly the same as it did before you planted. And if you are someone who only trusts what your eyes can confirm, You would look at that unchanged dirt and conclude that nothing is happening, that the seed is dead, that you wasted your time, that growth is not for you. But underneath that surface, in the invisible darkness of the soil, something absolutely extraordinary is taking place. The seed is cracking open. It is breaking apart from the inside. Its outer shell, the thing that once defined and protected it, must completely shatter in order for the life within it to expand. The breaking is not failure. The breaking is the beginning of everything. Your life works exactly the same way. The moments that felt like your seed was dying in the dark, those were the moments your transformation was being incubated. Those were the moments the universe was cracking you open, not to destroy you, but to expand you far beyond the shell of who you used to be. And just as the seed does not need to understand photosynthesis in order to grow toward the light, you do not need to understand the mechanics of divine orchestration in order to benefit from it. You simply need to stop pulling the seed out of the ground every 3 days to check if it is working. There is a vibrational reality to this universe that science itself is now beginning to confirm. Everything, every object, every thought, every emotion, every word, every prayer operates at a specific frequency. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, responds not to what you say you want, not to what you write on a list and tape to your refrigerator, but to the frequency at which you are actually vibrating in your deepest, most honest, most private inner world. This is why two people can pray for the same thing and have completely different outcomes. It is not that God plays favorites. It is that one person prays while simultaneously vibrating at the frequency of absolute trust and openness, while the other prays while vibrating at the frequency of desperate, clinging, fearful doubt. And the universe, which does not judge, which does not prefer one person over another, simply matches the signal it receives. So the question that changes everything, the question that is worth sitting with in complete honesty today is this: what frequency are you actually broadcasting? Not the frequency of your words, not the performance of your faith that you display in public, but the real frequency, the one that hums underneath your daily thoughts, the one that colors your quiet moments, the one that shows up in how you speak about your future when you think no one is listening. Because that frequency, that real, honest, private inner signal is your true prayer, and it is being answered continuously, constantly, and without exception. Now, I need to talk to you about something that most people resist with everything they have, and that resistance is precisely why most people never experience the supernatural surprises that life is capable of delivering. I need to talk to you about surrender, not the surrender of defeat, not the white flag of someone who has given up on life. I am talking about a completely different kind of surrender, the surrender of someone who has finally become wise enough to stop insisting that they know better than the infinite intelligence of the universe exactly how and when and through what specific channel their good should arrive. This kind of surrender is not passive, it is not lazy. It is actually one of the most powerful, courageous, spiritually advanced things a human being can do, because our ego, that loud, frightened, controlling voice inside us, absolutely despises uncertainty. The ego needs a plan. The ego needs a timeline. The ego needs to be in charge of the process, micromanaging every detail, panicking when things don't unfold according to the schedule it has written in its nervous, trembling little hands. And when life inevitably refuses to follow the ego's agenda, the ego interprets that as catastrophe, as failure, as evidence that God doesn't care or doesn't exist or has specifically chosen to withhold good from you. But what if, and I invite you to really sit inside this question, what if every time the universe redirected you away from something you desperately wanted, it was not rejection? What if it was protection? What if the job you didn't get was a door being closed because the career of your dreams was being built for you in a room you hadn't discovered yet? What if the relationship that ended, the one that shattered you, the one you were convinced was your only chance at love, what if that ending was the universe clearing the space, making room, preparing the ground for a love so real, so deep, so aligned with your truest self, that it makes everything that came before it look like a rough draft? What if every single redirection in your life was not the universe working against you, but the universe working for you in ways that your present limited perspective simply could not yet perceive? There is a concept that has existed in every spiritual tradition since the beginning of recorded human history. The idea that there is an intelligent, loving, infinitely creative force that is constantly moving in the direction of human flourishing. Every tradition has a different name for it. Every culture has expressed it through different stories, different symbols, different languages. But the core message, the thread that runs through all of them, is identical. You are not alone. You are not forgotten. You are not outside the reach of the miraculous and the circumstances of your present life. No matter how desperate, no matter how stuck, no matter how beyond repair they appear, are not final. They are not the last word. They are not the complete story. The complete story has not been written yet, and here is the part that should shake you awake with excitement rather than paralyze you with fear. You are a co-author of that story, not a passive observer, not a helpless victim of circumstances, not a leaf being blown by winds you cannot influence. You are a conscious, creative, spiritually empowered being who has been given the extraordinary gift of choice. The choice of what to focus on, the choice of what to believe, the choice of what story to tell yourself about who you are and what is possible. And every choice you make in your inner world, every thought you entertain, every belief you water, every vision you hold is simultaneously a creative act in the physical world, whether you can see the immediate results or not. I want to speak now directly to someone, and you will know if this is you, because something in your chest will tighten slightly, or your eyes will fill, or you will feel a sudden strange combination of relief and pain that confirms these words are meant specifically for you. I want to speak to the person who has been holding on, who has been faithful in the darkness, who has kept showing up even when showing up felt pointless, who has been patient, sometimes gracefully and sometimes through clenched teeth, for something to change, for something to break open, for something to shift. And the waiting has been so long that you have begun to quietly, secretly wonder if you were foolish to believe in the first place. To that person, I want to say with absolute conviction, your time is coming, not as a platitude, not as a comfortable phrase designed to make you feel temporarily better, but as a spiritual law as reliable and as certain as gravity itself, a law that states that sincere, sustained, faith-filled intention held in alignment with the infinite source of all creation must, by the very nature of how this universe is constructed, produce results. It cannot not produce results. The question was never whether the harvest would come. The question was only whether you would still be standing in the field when it arrived. And something extraordinary happens when a human being who has been through genuine darkness, real darkness, not imagined, not theoretical, but the kind that sits on your chest at 3 in the morning and convinces you that morning is never coming. Something extraordinary happens when that person chooses, in the middle of their darkness, to maintain their belief in the light. Something shifts in the spiritual atmosphere around them. Something responds to that quality of faith, that rare, precious, costly faith that isn't easy, that isn't comfortable, that isn't maintained without daily effort. And the universe begins to move, not slowly, not reluctantly, with the kind of momentum and speed that astonishes everyone, including the person experiencing it. You have heard the stories. Everyone has heard the stories. The person who was told their diagnosis was terminal and recovered completely in a way that medicine cannot explain. The business that was 1 week from bankruptcy that received an unexpected call from an investor who changed everything. The single parent who had given up on love and met the person of their dreams in an ordinary grocery store on an ordinary Tuesday, in a moment so perfect and so unlikely that they knew immediately it had been arranged by something beyond coincidence. The student who failed repeatedly and was told they would never amount to anything, who went on to change the world in a way that left the people who doubted them speechless. These are not fairy tales. These are not isolated exceptions. These are examples of what becomes available to human beings when they align themselves with the infinite creative intelligence of the universe and refuse, absolutely refuse, to accept limitation as their permanent address. Because here is the truth that most people are never told clearly enough, loudly enough, persistently enough. Limitation is not your home. Struggle is not your destiny. Lack is not your inheritance. Whatever story was handed to you in childhood, whatever narrative the world has constructed about who you are and what you are worth and what you deserve, that story is not the truth about you. It is a story. It is a collection of thoughts that were thought so often they began to feel like facts. And thoughts, no matter how long they have been thought, no matter how many people have confirmed them, no matter how much physical evidence seems to support them, thoughts can be changed. Beliefs can be updated. Stories can be rewritten. And when the inner story changes, the outer life has no choice, absolutely no choice, but to reorganize itself around the new narrative. This is not wishful thinking. This is not naive optimism that ignores the genuine hardships of human life. This is a profound and practical spiritual truth that, when actually applied, not just intellectually admired from a distance, but genuinely, consistently, courageously applied, transforms lives in ways that defy conventional explanation. The universe is not a vending machine that dispenses miracles in exchange for the right combination of words. It is a living, responsive, infinitely intelligent field of pure potential that is constantly, lovingly, personally responding to the quality of consciousness that each individual human being brings to their experience. And so I am asking you today, right now, in this moment, to make a decision. Not a decision that requires you to have all the answers. Not a decision that requires you to see the complete path. Not a decision that requires you to understand how the miracle will come, or when it will arrive, or through what specific sequence of events it will unfold. I am asking you to make a simpler decision than all of that. I am asking you to decide firmly, deliberately, with every ounce of your will, that you are available for the miraculous, that you are open, that you are willing to release your death grip on the way you think things should go, in order to allow the way things are infinitely meant to go to move freely through your life. I am asking you to decide that you are done arguing for your limitations, done defending your doubts, done rehearsing your reasons why things can't change, and instead to turn your full, magnificent, creative attention toward what is possible, toward what is coming, toward what the universe has been quietly, patiently, lovingly preparing for you this entire time. Because something is coming, something is shifting, something in the invisible realm that governs all visible outcomes is moving in the direction of your life right now. The ground is trembling slightly beneath the surface of your ordinary days. Things are being repositioned, connections are being made, doors are being unlocked that you have not yet seen. And the only thing standing between you and the life-altering surprise that God has been constructing for you is the willingness to believe, before the evidence arrives, that it is real. Believe it, claim it, live from it. Not from a place of entitled demand, but from a place of grateful, humble, radiant expectancy. Wake up tomorrow morning and feel it, the feeling of someone who knows that something extraordinary is on its way. Carry that feeling through your day, not as a performance, but as a practice. Let it color how you speak, how you treat others, how you treat yourself, how you respond to setbacks, how you interpret the ordinary moments of your life. Because when you live from that frequency of expectant gratitude, you become a magnet for the miraculous. You become someone the universe can work through and deliver to and surprise with the kind of breathtaking abundance that you once believed was only available to other people. It is available to you. It has always been available to you, and it is closer than you think. We began today with a question. What if the very moment you feel most lost is the moment the universe is positioning you for the most extraordinary surprise of your life? And I want you to leave here today, not just having heard that question, but having felt it settle into the deepest part of your being as an absolute, unshakable truth. Because that is exactly what is happening. The delays were preparation, the detours were protection, the darkness was incubation. And the life you have been quietly, faithfully dreaming of, the version of your existence that feels just slightly out of reach, just slightly beyond the border of what you have allowed yourself to fully believe in. That life is not a fantasy. It is a blueprint. It is a divine assignment that has your name written on it in permanent ink. And the universe, in all its infinite creativity and breathtaking love, is right now, at this very second, working on the delivery. Your only job is to stay open. Your only job is to keep believing when believing is hard, to keep your heart soft when the world tempts you to harden it, to keep your eyes on the horizon of possibility when the present moment seems to offer nothing but evidence of limitation. Your only job is to show up fully, honestly, courageously, as the magnificent, divinely connected, infinitely capable being that you actually are, and to trust that what is coming is so good, so right, so perfectly designed for the specific, beautiful complexity of who you are, that it will make every hard chapter of your life make complete and perfect sense. God is not finished with you. The universe is not finished with you. Your story is not finished. And the next chapter, the one that is being written right now in the invisible spaces of divine orchestration, is going to be the one that changes everything. Stay faithful, stay open, stay expectant. Your life is about to change forever. Thank you, from the deepest place within me, for giving this message your time, your attention, and your open heart today. That is not a small thing. In a world full of noise and distraction, you chose to sit with something that has the power to genuinely transform your inner world, and I honor that choice completely. I want you to know that I believe in you, not in a general, surface-level way, but with the specific conviction that every single human being who finds their way to a message like this is someone the universe is already working on, already preparing, already moving towards something beautiful. You are not here by accident. You never are. So carry what resonated with you today out into your life. Water it, trust it, act from it. And when the surprise arrives, and it will arrive, remember this moment. Remember that you heard it before you saw it, and you chose to believe anyway. That is not weakness. That is the highest form of courage a human being can demonstrate. Good luck, though luck is simply what happens when divine preparation meets your willing, open, believing heart. And your heart, I can tell, is very willing indeed. Go live the life that has been waiting for you. We began today with a question. What if the very moment you feel most lost is the moment the universe is positioning you for the most extraordinary surprise of your life? And I want you to leave here today not just having heard that question, but having felt it settle into the deepest part of your being as an absolute, unshakable truth. Because that is exactly what is happening. The delays were preparation, the detours were protection, the darkness was incubation, and the life you have been quietly, faithfully dreaming of, the version of your existence that feels just slightly out of reach, just slightly beyond the border of what you have allowed yourself to fully believe in. That life is not a fantasy, it is a blueprint. It is a divine assignment that has your name written on it in permanent ink. And the universe, in all its infinite creativity and breathtaking love, is right now, at this very second, working on the delivery. Your only job is to stay open. Your only job is to keep believing when believing is hard, to keep your heart soft when the world tempts you to harden it, to keep your eyes on the horizon of possibility when the present moment seems to offer nothing but evidence of limitation. Your only job is to show up fully, honestly, courageously as the magnificent, divinely connected, infinitely capable being that you actually are, and to trust that what is coming is so good, so right, so perfectly designed for the specific, beautiful complexity of who you are, that it will make every hard chapter of your life make complete and perfect sense. God is not finished with you. The universe is not finished with you. Your story is not finished. And the next chapter, the one that is being written right now in the invisible spaces of divine orchestration, is going to be the one that changes everything. Stay faithful, stay open, stay expectant. Your life is about to change forever.